Caitlin Clark's number 22 isn't just a jersey, it's a statement. It's the digit that followed her from record-breaking games to viral highlights, becoming a symbol for a new era of women's basketball. But now, as Team USA prepares for a crucial training camp, Clark has been told to give it up. No one else is wearing 22. No clear reason's been offered. And yet, she's being forced to switch to 17, a move that's triggered outrage across fans, analysts, and athletes alike. The timing, the singling out, and the silence around it all hint at more than just a policy decision. It looks personal.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
This forced change comes on the heels of Clark being left off the Olympic roster earlier this year, despite her unmatched popularity and performance. The jersey controversy isn't an isolated incident. It reflects a disturbing trend where women athletes, even at the top of their game, face institutional roadblocks. When an athlete like Clark, whose influence drives attendance, viewership, and revenue, is still subjected to this kind of marginalization, it raises hard questions about who hold the power and what they're protecting. See match photos. Caitlin Clark is the most electric name in women's basketball right now, breaking records, selling out arenas, pulling TV ratings that men's games would envy. Her number 22 jersey, instantly iconic. It's not just a number anymore. It's a statement, a symbol of her dominance, and a brand that has reshaped how women's basketball is perceived by fans and media alike. So when Team USA told her to ditch that jersey number ahead of a crucial training camp, yeah, it didn't go over well. This isn't a logistical mix-up or some bureaucratic technicality. According to reports, no one else at the camp is even wearing number 22. There's no clash, no duplicate, no reason, except maybe one that's hard to say out loud. The idea that Caitlin Clark is being singled out has sparked major backlash, and not just from her fans. People are calling it what it looks like, a power move, a statement that no one, not even the biggest star in the game, is bigger than the system. And let's be real, this isn't just about a jersey. It's about what that jersey represents. Caitlin Clark is number 22. It's how fans recognize her. It's how brands market her. It's what little girls wear to their first WNBA game. For Team USA to force her into number 17, especially when there's no clear reason for the change, feels deliberate, strategic, political. Now zoom out a bit. This isn't the first time Caitlin Clark has been at the center of some eyebrow-raising decisions by USA Basketball. Remember the Olympic roster? Clark wasn't on it. Despite her record-shattering performances, her viral moments, her fan base that quite literally shifted the conversation around women's sports. She didn't make the cut, and excuses at the time? Vague. Things like team fit and experience, while other less impactful players got the pattern, and people are starting to notice. You've got a player who has arguably done more for the visibility of women's basketball in the last 2 years than some entire organizations. But instead of celebrating that, instead of building around it, Team USA seems to be pushing back. Silently, subtly, but noticeably. Why? The answer a lot of people are landing on is control. When a player starts to become too influential, too popular, too powerful, institutions get nervous. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player anymore. She's a cultural force. And cultural forces don't always follow the script. Aya Wilson. So if this jersey change is just an internal decision, why is no one else being asked to give up number 22? Players like Aya Wilson and Cameron Brink have worn 22 with no issues. But Clark? Suddenly she's number 17. A number with no history, no emotional weight, no connection to her legacy. Just assigned, like she's being told to fall in line. And when you look at it through that lens, a message becomes clear. You're not running this. Now, some defenders of the decision are brushing it off. It's just a number. They say, why make it a big deal? But here's the thing. When you're an athlete at this level, your number isn't just a number. It's branding. It's continuity. It's part of your identity on and off the court. Stripping that away, especially without reason, is a calculated move. It's a way of saying you're replaceable. And that doesn't sit right with fans. Especially not when this is happening in a sport where women have already had to claw for every ounce of recognition, where fair pay, equal coverage, and even basic respect are still things women athletes are fighting for. To see the sport's most recognizable face getting sidelined and second-guessed, not for her performance, but for what she represents, is a hard pill to swallow. Clark's rise has been meteoric, yes, but it's also disruptive. She's brought in new audiences. She's made networks money. She's changed the conversation. But that kind of disruption doesn't always sit well with the old guard, especially not in institutions like Team USA, where tradition and hierarchy still rule the day. And when organizations feel threatened, what do? They try to reassert power. They enforce arbitrary rules. They clip wings. It's not just about keeping players in check. It's about maintaining control over the narrative. And Caitlin Clark? She's rewriting that narrative in real time. Her presence challenges old assumptions about who gets to be the face of the sport, who gets attention, who draws crowds. And apparently, that's uncomfortable for some people. Because here's the irony. Everything about this decision screams insecurity. You don't go out of your way to limit someone's influence unless you feel like it's threatening yours. And in this case, it's clear that Caitlin Clark's influence is doing just that. But the backlash? Immediate. Fans are outraged. Comment sections are flooded. Articles are dropping daily dissecting every angle of this mess. People are calling it what it is, a disrespectful, tone-deaf move that only highlights how out of touch some sports institutions still are. And even worse, it's backfiring. Instead of humbling Clark or forcing her to fade into the background, this has only made her more powerful. Now there's a new layer to her story. The underdog who wasn't just overlooked. She was actively suppressed. The star who brought millions of eyeballs to it's giving pettiness. It's giving fear. It's giving. We don't know how to handle someone who doesn't play by our rules. And here's what really stings for a lot of fans. This could have been such a different story. Team USA had the chance to embrace Clark, to celebrate her, to let her wear 22 and show that they understand what she means to the future of the sport. Instead, they fumbled. Badly. The optics are brutal. It paints a picture of an organization that would rather silence a rising star than adapt to a changing landscape. And in doing so, they've not only disrespected Clark, they've disrespected the very audience she brought to the game. Because let's be honest, Caitlin Clark didn't just show up to play. She showed up to change the game. And the game needs to change. Women's sports are long overdue for a shakeup, for new leadership, for voices that don't come pre-approved by decades of politics and behind-the-scenes deals. This isn't just about one jersey number. This is about who gets to shape the future of women's basketball. And right now, it feels like the old system is doing everything it can to protect itself from progress. But fans see it. The media sees it. And if Team USA isn't careful, they're going to find themselves on the wrong side of history, clinging to outdated structures while the sport moves on without them. And for Caitlin Clark, she'll be just fine. She's already bigger than one training camp, one number, or even one team. But this moment, this petty, unnecessary jersey swap, is going to stick. It's going to be remembered. And not in the way Team USA probably hoped. If you've been watching this unfold and feeling frustration, you're not alone. Drop a comment below. Do you think this was a power play? Or just another example of how female athletes keep getting sidelined? Even at the top, like the video if you think Caitlin Clark deserves better. Share it if you think this kind of behind-the-scenes nonsense needs to stop. And hit subscribe, because if this is how they treat one of the most important athletes in the game, you better believe the drama isn't over. And here's where things get even more uncomfortable. Because let's really think about what's at stake here. Not just for Caitlin Clark, but for the entire ecosystem of women's sports. When a player like her, with massive crossover appeal and the power to bring in new audiences, is met with resistance instead of support, it sends a message, a loud, clear message, one that says, stay in line, don't get too big, and definitely don't shake the table. Now, if you're a young player coming up, watching this happen, what are you supposed to think? That your talent alone won't be enough? That once you start to change the conversation, the people in charge might decide you're a little too visible? That no matter how hard you've worked, your identity, your story, even your jersey number can be taken from you at any time, that's the part that hits different. Because Caitlin Clark earned number 22. Not just on paper, not just statistically, but culturally. That number isn't random. It's a shorthand for everything she's done. Every game-winning shot, every packed arena, every new fan who said, "Wow, I didn't know women's basketball could be this exciting." She made that number mean something. And now she's being told it doesn't matter. The number 17? It's not just unfamiliar. It's cold. It's impersonal. It's generic. It feels like a placeholder, like something handed out last minute. And in the context of all the past slights, from the Olympic snub to this, it's not hard to see why fans are reading between the lines. Because when you add it all up, this is starting to look like a pattern. A deliberate effort to sideline a woman who's done the exact thing everyone claims to want. Grow the game, bring in viewers, and inspire the next generation. So why is she being treated like a threat instead of an asset? Some are saying it's jealousy. Others are saying it's politics. But whatever the motive, it's definitely not about merit. Because if we're talking skill, Caitlin's got it. Star power? No question. Impact? This should have been a moment of celebration. Her inclusion in Team USA's camp should have been rolled out with fanfare. Press releases, interviews, promo shoots, the whole future of the sport treatment. But instead, silence, awkward decisions, passive-aggressive moves that only serve to undercut her. And it's not just about her anymore. It's about what this says to all women in sports who dare to be bigger than the roles they've been handed. Women who are tired of being told to wait their turn. Tone it down or not, make it about themselves. Because here's the real kicker. Caitlin Clark didn't make this about herself. She just played. She broke records. She pulled crowds. She showed up for the game. And this is the thanks she gets? It's starting to feel like a textbook case of institutional gatekeeping. The kind where power is protected at all costs, even when it hurts the very thing it's supposed to be uplifting. And honestly, it's exhausting. Because how many times do we have to watch women build something incredible, something undeniably good for sport, only be told, that's not how we do things around here? How many times do we have to watch athletes get pushed out of their own narratives? Caitlin Clark is the moment, but you wouldn't know it from how she's being treated. And let's talk about the risk here. Not to her. She's going to keep rising regardless. But to the organizations clinging to this outdated playbook. Because you can't court growth and then punish the people bringing it. You can't want mainstream attention and then sabotage the athlete who delivered it. You can't have it both ways. And fans? They're paying attention. This isn't a one-day controversy. It's a turning point. One that's exposing the cracks in how women's sports are managed at the highest levels. One that's forcing uncomfortable questions. Who gets to lead the narrative? Who gets to be protected? And who gets punished when they shine too? Clark's jersey number might seem small on the surface, but symbolically, it's massive. It's about identity, legacy, and the ability to define your own story. Taking that away, for no legitimate reason, feels like a quiet punishment for daring to stand out. And if that's what this really is, a warning shot to stay in line, then that's more than disrespectful. It's dangerous. Because it sends a chilling message that no matter how hard women work, how much they achieve, or how much they grow the game, they're still expected to defer to the system. And let's be honest, this system isn't exactly thriving on its own. It needed a Caitlin Clark to bring in new fans. It needed her viral moments, her highlights, her swagger. And now that it has it, it's trying to clip her wings. This is where public pressure matters. Because fans aren't staying quiet. They see through the PR spin. They're calling it what it is, a weird, unnecessary power flex that's doing more harm than good. And now, USA basketball is in a bind. Because the more they try to downplay it, the worse it looks. This isn't just a one-player issue anymore. It's a referendum on how the sport treats its stars. How it values, or devalues, women's impact. And whether it's truly ready to evolve, or just pretending it is. So where's that leave Clark? Well, that depends on how far Team USA is willing to push. Because let's not forget, she doesn't need them nearly as much as they need her. Her brand, her legacy, her fan base, they're all intact. But USA basketball, they're the ones looking out of touch right now. They're the ones risking alienation, not just from her, but from an entire generation of fans she brought into the fold. And if they think this will blow over, they're in for a rude awakening. Because this isn't just some Twitter controversy. This is about trust. It's about respect. It's about whether the most powerful entities in women's sports are truly ready to support the stars they claim to champion. And as of now, it's not looking good. So yeah, maybe number 22 is just a number. But when it's worn by the most impactful player in the game and stripped away without cause, it becomes something more. It becomes a symbol of everything that's still broken. Of the double standards, the gatekeeping, the fear of change. And that's why people are angry. Because it's not just about Caitlin Clark. It's about every woman who's ever been told she's too loud, too confident, too popular. Every athlete who's been celebrated by fans, but ignored by institutions. Every player who had to watch a moment of triumph turn into a silent battle for legitimacy. This isn't just a basketball story. It's a culture story. And whether Team USA realizes it or not, they just picked a fight they can't win. Because the fans are watching. The media is watching. The next generation is watching. And Caitlin Clark? She's still standing. Still dominating. Still wearing 22 in the hearts of everyone who knows what she's done for the game. And here's the part no one really wants to say out loud, but everyone's thinking it. If this exact same situation had happened to a male player, if someone like Steph Curry or LeBron James was told, out of nowhere, to drop their jersey number, one that's been part of their identity for years, you think it would have just gone unnoticed? Absolutely not. There would have been a press conference, a carefully crafted explanation, maybe even an apology, and more importantly, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. That's what makes this entire situation so frustrating. The double standard is glaring. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. She's filling seats, drawing record-breaking ratings, and becoming the face of a sport that's finally getting its overdue moment. And instead of protecting that, or even just respecting it, Team USA is sending her the clearest message possible. You're not in charge here. It's not just about basketball. It's about control. And who gets to have it? And here's the thing. Team USA knows how important optics are. They know that jerseys are more than just uniforms. They're symbols. They're branding. They're personal. They're emotional. So when they tell Clark to switch numbers and give no real reason, they can't pretend to be surprised when it blows up in their faces. Because people are tired. Tired of watching female athletes carry the weight of an entire league on their backs and still get sidelined in moments that should be theirs. Tired of watching organizations beg for relevance and then shove away the very stars making them. This whole mess is so eerily familiar. We've seen it before. Women reach a certain level of success. They disrupt the system. And instead of being welcomed in, they're told to quiet down, step aside, and be a team player. But what does being a team player even mean in this context? Does it mean ignoring your brand, your legacy, and the work you've done to bring attention to the sport? Does it mean giving up part of your identity just to make other people more comfortable? Because if that's what Team USA is asking from Caitlin Clark, then maybe the bigger question is, what kind of team are they really trying to build? It's wild, too, because this could have been such a simple win. Let Clark wear 22. Celebrate her inclusion in the training camp. Use her influence to bring in more fans, boost coverage, grow the sport. But instead, they chose control over common sense. Silence over transparency. And the fallout is exactly what you'd expect. Now, people are questioning everything. Was the number change really just a petty power move? Was it retaliation for the way she's dominated headlines? Or worse, was it a strategic attempt to clip her influence before she even makes the final roster? Either way, the damage is done. Clark's not just another player. She's a lightning rod for change. And trying to dim that light doesn't make it go away. It just shines brighter. The more the system resists her, the more people rally around her. Because this isn't just her battle anymore. It's a symbol of everything women in sports have been fighting against for decades. And you can feel the tension building. Every sports debate show is talking about it. Every fan forum is on fire. The people who came into the game because of Clark are now looking at Team USA and asking, what are you doing? Because even if they try to spin it, they can't deny one fact. The backlash isn't coming from nowhere. It's rooted in a long history of these exact kinds of decisions, quiet, behind-the-scenes choices that add up to a much louder message. CC Press Conference. You are not in control of your own narrative. You are here at our mercy. You are only allowed to be great if we say so. But that message doesn't work anymore. Not in 2025. Not with players like Caitlin Clark, who have already proven that the old rules don't apply. She's not just playing basketball. She's transforming it. And trying to reduce that to a jersey swap? Honestly, it's laughable. CC shots. If Team USA thinks this will humble her or slow her down, they seriously don't understand who they're dealing with. Clark has already won over the public. She's changed the game. The fans are with her. The numbers speak for themselves. She could wear any number and still be a problem on the court. But that's not the point. The point is, she shouldn't have to. She shouldn't have to shrink herself to fit into an outdated mold. She shouldn't have to start from scratch every time she walks into a new room. She shouldn't have to prove herself over and over again, just be treated with the baseline respect that any male star would get without question. CC interview, and maybe most of all, she shouldn't have to deal with these silent, petty jabs from the very institutions that claim to support women's sports. So now, the ball's in Team USA's court, literally and figuratively. They can keep pretending this is no big deal, or they can finally address what everyone already sees. They can lean into the future, or they can get left behind by it. Because whether they like it or not, Caitlin Clark is the future. And the more they try to control her, the more obvious it becomes that they're terrified of just how much she's already changed the game. So, if you're watching this all go down and thinking, why does this feel so familiar? It's because it is. We've seen this pattern before. But this time, people aren't staying. Drop a comment and tell us what you think. Is this just petty gatekeeping or something bigger? Like this video if you're tired of watching women get sidelined for being successful. Share it with someone who needs to see the truth behind this so-called jersey decision. And make sure you subscribe. Because if this is how Team USA handles its most valuable player, we've only just scratched the surface of the drama to come.